Last week at the Daytona International Speedway, we had an enthralling battle all race long, and right at the end, Travis Crampton pulled out all the stops to take the lead with 5 to go, and then barely edged out Henrik Waugh to win the Daytona 500 in his first ever Cup Series start. Today, it is the 150th race in the Gratton Cup Series. We're nearly a decade into it, and today we mark the 150th occasion of racing here on the channel. It's the Rinnai 400 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. 65 laps of action coming your way today. Hello everybody and welcome to the Gratton Cup Series race number 2 of 30 here in 2025-2026. Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Rinnai 400. We got 65 laps as I mentioned earlier. 65 laps around this racetrack here in Hampton, Georgia, the Atlanta Motor Speedway, not the Echo Park Motor Speedway, which is what's called in real life. We will have the Echo Park 500 later in the year, but this is the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we can all acknowledge that. It's great to have your company here. My name's Stuart Gratton. I've got Matt Tuck once again with me here in the booth, and Matt, we're here at Atlanta. This is usually a very, very entertaining race with a lot of lead changes historically. What are you looking forward to seeing here in this race today?
Seeing over the, we just thought, a weekend ago, a Stock Car World Cup, SVG and Braden Perez had like the closest finish we've had in like 3 seasons. This is an unbelievable racetrack. Very competitive, very high tire deg. But you can make a lot of ground up in a very short time here. The stakes are very high for how competitive the racing is here. And it's a great segue out of Daytona back to more traditional style racing. And I think we're in for an absolute banger here today.
Absolutely, usually is. You look back to the last season's races, season 5. We had the last lap pass that Jake Rogers made on Tristan Allen to win the race. It was the only lap he led that day. That was good fun. And then Julio Cesar won later in the year in the longer race, which was also quite an entertaining one. And this is a racetrack where, as you said, you can move your way from the back to the front of the field. And so even if you start towards the rear of this race, there is a chance you can move your way forward. And the good thing about this racetrack as well, the inside lane is probably the preferred line, but you could certainly make passes on the outside and you could certainly make it work. And so we're really, really looking forward to that one. Looking at the championship standings here coming into this race based on the back of what happened at Daytona, Travis Crampton leads the championship by 4 points coming into this race over Henrik Waugh and Matthew Hubert. Hubert led the most laps at Daytona despite finishing 3rd. And Waugh, of course, finished 2nd, led a lap as well. So they are 4 points behind Crampton. Kelly Lee is 6 points behind. Bryce Egan, 7 points behind. Dawson Miller is 9 points behind, and Miller starts on the outside of the front row here in the 48. Alex Sanvitali, Christian Vargas, Christian Vargas, Alexander Rowe, then Charlie Davenport makes up the top 10 in the championship, all separated by 13 points because, of course, it is still, we're only one race in to a 30-race season. So a lot to play out here, I think it would be fair to say. Let's run through the starting lineup. We'll run through the top 20. You'll see the rest of the starting lineup on the left side of your screen with thanks to Budget Car Track Rental. Dominic Anthony, the number 39, 7th career pole in the Cup Series. And as we mentioned before, this is the 150th race. He is one of 2 drivers to have raced in every single one of those. He starts on the pole in the 39. Dawson Miller, this is his home race in the 48. He starts 2nd. Charlie Davenport, career best start for the 52, equals his career best. He starts 3rd. And 2-time Cup Series champion Brandon Betts starts from 4th. Bit of irony here on row 3. Benny Watson in the 96 and Jake Rogers in the number 40 started 5th and 6th last week. They start 5th and 6th today. And then Richard Fridge started 7th last week and he starts 7th today. He's in the number 20. He's joined by Alexander Rowe in the number 51 for Gifford Technologies Incorporated. Max Davis is the highest starting rookie in the field in the number 6 in the Seminole Motors number 6. And the car that, Noah Clifton, who used to drive this number 6, will start alongside him, rounds out the top 10. Eli Bright starts from 11th in the number 95, the Advanced Auto Parts entry, joined by Thomas Truxell, who was spun out at Daytona and still finished inside the top 20. Alex Sanvitale, career best finish at Daytona after what had been a frustrating GRL, finished 7th at Daytona. He starts 13th today. And the man who fell just short in the 500, Henrik Waugh, will start from 14th. Tyson Gifford, his team owner and teammate, will start from 15th. And there is our Daytona 500 champion, Travis Crampton, start from 16th. Kian Raleigh will start from 17th. And Ludovic Charette, Cup Series debut for the number 23. And then Colin Denton and Julio Caesar, the winner in the 500-mile race we talked about earlier, they make up row number 10. So the cars will roll off. You'll see the starting line with these Budget Car Truck Rental on the left side of your screen. So Matt, I'll hand it over to you. Who do you think is going to win the Rinnai 400 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Oh boy, what an interesting racetrack to try and predict a winner. Do I be original? I'm going to be, so deeply out of the box here. I'm actually going to take Charlie Davenport inside of row 2. Those hair gel cars were not slow at all at Daytona. In fact, I feel like Matthew Huber had the best car up until lap 40. So we'll see. Maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it was Daytona. I'm going to say maybe they actually have some real speed this year.
Well, Davenport ran very well at Daytona. All 3 of the hair gel cars were inside the top 10. And they had a very promising start to the season. Hoping to continue that form here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Number 52, starting from 3rd, equals his career best starting position. He's got a real good chance at winning this race. Pit window, by the way, about 35 laps here at Atlanta, so it'll be a one-stop race unless a yellow comes out and these get thrown around as a result. So keep an eye on that as the race goes along. Pace car makes the hard left turn into pit road, and here we go. Dominic Anthony and Dawson Miller will lead the field to the green in the 150th Gratton Cup Series race. We're underway at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Perfect start for Dominic Anthony, the number 39. He's going to lead the first lap of action here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Benny Watson jumps to second pretty quickly. And then the 2 Seminole Toyotas right behind. Richard Fridge and Max Davis. They're entering the top 5. 3rd and 4th. The inside lane got a very good start as Eli Bright also working his way forward. Everyone on the outside really dropping back. Now Rogers, the winner of this race last season, ducks down to the inside and he's going to try and work his way forward. Number 39 in up to a very, very good start. But he's now got company. Benny Watson, the 96, and his teammate Eli Bright is already up to the 3rd position.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking all through Daytona week, and I was quite high on NS Racing. A case in point, Travis Crampton, one of the best overtakes I've ever seen. But Bright and Watson, they weren't really big-time players in the 500, but they've come out swinging here early in the gate. You got the 13, you got Jake Rogers, you got Sam Medeo, you got Alexander Rowe, Richard Fridge, lots of players moving here through the field very quickly. And we're getting a little, not too much field separation, but you can see they're trying to spread out here early in the going, which is always an interesting thing to watch here, but very competitive racing here early on in the going.
And here goes Clifton down to the inside. He's up to 3rd. You see Watson trying to get that outside lane to work. He saw an example of it right there. And Watson again trying to run that outside, trying to find a way around this 39. He's got a fast race car. And you're going to see on occasion, particularly in 3 and 4, where drivers will jump to the outside and will try and make a move around the outside, particularly as the tyres wear out. So something to keep in mind as this run goes along. But Clifton is up to 3rd. Rowe is up to 4th, and he's now going for 3rd. Underneath the 13, you got Richard Fridge going 3 wide. Aggressive move down to the inside. He might have to jump back behind the 40. He couldn't get the run out of turn 4 in the way he would have hoped. They're 3 wide behind as well. Tristan Allen, who has a very good record here at Atlanta, the reigning Cup champion, led the most laps in both Atlanta races last season, but finished second in both of those races. He likes this track. He also won here back in Season 1, the second ever race in the Cup Series. As Alexander Rowe is going to make it a Gifford Technologies Incorporated 1-2. He's up to second, and this number 51 looks very, very quick out the gate.
I mean, Gifford as a whole looks very quick. I mean, Dominic Anthony had a car I think could have won the Daytona 500. So he he got just alley-whooped out of that race, but him and his teammate Alexander Rowe look very strong. The two NS Racing teammates of Eli Bright and Benny Watson look very strong. Then you got Jake Rogers looks very good here early in the going, which is I think what we expected of him heading over to this 40 machine. Sam Adio and Fridge, the two Seminole Motor teammates, they're looking very strong here as well early in the going. So, I mean, keep an eye on these Toyotas. Hondas look like they're a little, one thing I am noticing, the Hondas look a little off the pace here early in the going. I mean, Clifton's up here and Dawson Miller, but a lot of their other players are just not in the picture here right now. And Henrik Guo, you know, we've talked about guys who lose races in heartbreaking fashion, and sometimes, you know, there's a little bit of a hangover from that, but Guo looks very strong here early in the going, staying very competitive here just outside the top 10.
Gifford teammates continue to go at it here for the lead. Rowe took it away from Anthony. Now on lap 9, Anthony's going to try and take it back away from the 51. And they have spread out more than I kind of anticipated in this race. We saw throughout testing that these guys were a little bit closer as a field throughout, but clearly conditions have changed. And so side by side at the line, Rowe on that outside is going to make it work. And he's going to head off into turns 1 and 2 on that outside. Can he get that outside lane to work? Will Anthony get the inside lane and just hold there? They're still side by side for the lead. A good battle between these two teammates. Of course, I mentioned before, Anthony is one of 2 drivers to have raced in every single Cup Series race. The other one is Tristan Allen. The 39 now with a big run to the inside, and don't count out this 40. And Jake Rogers, we talked about, he won that Season 5 race. He also won here in Season 4, so he also really likes this racetrack and currently going for the 3rd position as Anthony clears Alexander Rowe for the lead. Takes it back away from the number 51.
Anthony, I think, really showing you the pace that car or that team has. Jake Rogers, though, showing some serious pace. Oh my goodness. Gonna Harvick the bottom of the racetrack there. Jumps up to the lead. That car looks wicked fast here early in the going. And he's really just, I mean, you can see he is in complete control of what that car is doing. He can ride that bottom so well here. And he's just going to get in front of Anthony and Alexander Rowe. And, I mean, you can see already on your screen, he's trying to put a little bit of space in between him and those guys. So that 40 is wired into this racetrack, and Jake Rogers looking very strong here, but Rowe and Anthony going to go at it again, and Watson's got a great front row seat to this. Brandon Bent's moving his way up through here. You got a lot of the big guns here of this series really showing out strong here early in the going. This top 4 battle, though, they are not going to stop here at all. Watson's going to split up the teammates of Anthony and Rowe. And we're having a lot of fun here in Atlanta. This is some fun racing here. Great battle for the lead. I mean, we can't even go. I can see on the screen we're having great battles behind them, but like we can't just like turn away from the lead. I mean, they've been changing it every other lap here. Yeah,
absolutely. It's been a lot going on, and Richard Fridge here on the inside, number 20, trying to work his way forward. He's got a guy used to drive for him, Noah Clifton trying to get to the inside, had to back out of it a little bit. Max Davis here in the 6 is the highest rookie in the field, and he's done a very nice job so far. Seminole Motors teammates, he qualified quite well, qualified 9th, and has remained up here as such, as here we go for the lead once again. Alexander Rowe this time to the inside of Rogers. Of course, Alexander Rowe, 5-time race winner back in Season 5. He knows his way to victory lane. But here he is, taking the lead away back from Rogers. Anthony's going to send it back on the inside as well, and Watson's right there, so it's all going on. You see Rogers trying to run that outside. Anthony's trying to run the bottom, and they were feigning a move to try and shuffle the 51 to the middle, but no one could really get close enough. And so the 51 will take the lead. He leads that lap, and then Anthony, Rogers, and Watson. You see 39 with a big run now in the left rear corner. He's not going to be able to get that run out of turn 2. Rogers going to push Rowe back out in front. Here's Fridge working on Eli Bright. So this is the battle for the 5th position. A very strong showing from Richard Fridge here in the 20. And made the chase in Season 5. Running quite well here early stages, although Eli Bright's going to get that run on the outside. Going to look quickly back through the field while we've got the opportunity. There's Gore, you mentioned before. He's currently 10th. Miller is 11th. Not as much speed in that car as we would have thought. Matthew Hubert's doing a good job. He worked his way from, I want to say, around about the bottom of the top 30, I want to say. And he's now up into 12th. So he's doing a very nice job for Hairgel Motorsports. Tristan Allen hasn't had as much speed. Neither has Julio Caesar. These two cars have, I would have thought, would have been in contention for the win. Hasn't quite been the case so far. You got Jared Oren back in there. Keen Rally in the 10. There's our Daytona 500 champion. Travis Crampton, 17th at the moment. Charlie Davenport is in 18th. He's losing ground quite a bit as we had a change for the lead. And of course, go figure, that's what happens when you scoot away for the moment. Anthony took the lead, but not for long. Big run to the inside for Benny Watson in the 96. And he's going to power his way past for NS Racing. And NS Racing, just a little interesting thing that I realised. They've won the last 3 races of GRL, and then they won the 500. They're on a 4-race winning streak at the moment, and Watson out in front.
Got Watson leading. Bright is he's starting to slip back a little bit here under attack from Clifton, Samadillo, and Fridge, but it's a very strong start for this team. And you know, we were talking about that in testing. They have a lot of pieces that, even though they might not statistically over the course of the many series that have been run under the many banners you've done. In the right now, they have a very, very potent lineup, and I think they've shown early on in the going they're going to be a huge threat to Nicotech and Gifford. You know, very strong teams they're going to go take the challenge to, but Jake Rogers really carrying the banner here for the SRT bunch, and he's going to whip that 40 John Deere machine back to the inside, and you can visually start to see you can definitely visually start to see they are losing some pace here in these tires. These tires are wearing. We are going to have to pit in about 10 to 15 laps, and that is going to shake this field up. But side by side, Rogers on the bottom. Watson's car is so strong here on the top today. Really makes you think for later in the race, Rogers going to get by, but I mean, Watson looks amazing with his car control here today.
Number 4, he's really hooked up, and this is what they brought him in to do, and really take this team over the top. Premier Racing Motorsports, PRM, have been around for a fair while now, but this is their 2nd season with the Dodgers, and they showed promise last season, but with Rogers, that really elite driver to take him over the top. And here he is leading this race at a track that he likes, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Talked about before, he's won here twice. Looking to go 3 of the last 4 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. His first win with this team. The battle's on behind for 3rd and 4th between the teammates. Rowe and Anthony continue to battle. And just quietly, Brandon Bett is up to 5th. And 27 is someone that you cannot count out. He is obviously 2-time series champion, doing a very nice job. Max Davis, attaboy, Max Davis. 2nd Cup Series start. He showed a lot of promise in GRL, but didn't quite get a win in that series. Here he is running 6th. On his in his 2nd Cup start against a very, very talented list. I mean, roster of drivers here is we've got extraordinary roster of drivers, and he's doing very, very well for himself in car 6. Keep an eye on him as this race goes along. He's ahead of his teammate Richard Fridge. Of course, the 6 did so well with Noah Clifton when Clifton was a rookie last season. So maybe it's something about this 6 car and rookie drivers. As I tell you what, that's an aggressive move down to the inside by Anthony.
My.
He goes to the inside of Watson. And side by side, Watson got a little bit of a run out of turn 4, but can he clear the 39 heading off into turn 1? Yeah, it looks like he will. Anthony's going to try and send it, but Can't quite hold that inside lane. And so Watson will hold on to second for the time being. But good racing here as Brandon Bent now starting to clear away. Henrik Ward now up to 6th as well in the 71. So 3 Gifford Chevrolets inside that top 6 cars.
Those Gifford Chevrolets look really, really good. And I think the one thing I will notice among them, how do I word this? You see some pace discrepancy across the NS racing cars. I think the top of that team looks amazing when they're on, but you can definitely see the pace discrepancy. You can even see that amongst like Brandon Bent and all of his many teammates. But these Gifford cars, I mean, they are locked in so far to start the season. They're very, very close with each other. And that bodes well as a team, you know, to really just shove 3-4 cars together. Good things can happen when you can be this competitive as an organization.
For sure, there's no doubt about that. And they are probably one of the stronger lineups in the grid. You know, Nicotech struggled quite a bit here in this race. I mean, Clifton's done all right. He's 8th. Would have thought that Miller and you got Caesar back in here and Rally. You would have thought that, you know, Nicotech guys would have been, you know, I probably would have had them as the best lineup. And yet it hasn't really come to the fore in this. Certainly this race so far. Tristan Elm, again, he's struggled quite a bit in the 14, but he's 12th. That's not a bad run for him, I suppose. He struggled a lot at Daytona. There's a big hornet's nest back in here. You've got Samadeo in the 45. You've got Perez in the 92. Sam Vitale. There's the other Gifford Chevrolet, Tyson Gifford himself. Davenport struggled in this race. Rogel Dawn in the PRM Dodge. Rogers leading this race. That's the next best PRM Dodge. And then there's the 2 DW Fords that, you know, aren't really the main 2. Cyrus McGee, God. I've been reading too much in history books. Colin Denton's in the 21. He is 27th at the moment. 25th, actually, is just updated. And Steinbach, who's starting a long way back, he's currently 27th, going for 26th underneath of Nathan Smith. And even Kelly Lee, for example, and Christian Vargas, the other 2 PRM Dodgers, have also struggled quite a bit. So, that's good. As you mentioned, you know, Gifford, outside of the 7, you know, they've got 3 very strong cars, right, you know, inside that, you know, top 6, top group of cars, and then a lot of variance across the teams of drivers. As you see Watson in the 96 with a big run down to the inside, and he's going to try and make this move stick. It's remarkable to think, you know, Watson, only 1 career Cup Series win. It came in his 122nd career start at Nashville in Season 5, and that was a great achievement. And then he nearly won the championship 2 races later, fell 4 points short. He obviously won 2 races in the GRL, had a strong season there, and can't quite lead at the line there. Rogers got a good run. But I tell you what, this 96 is very, very strong. And as the years have gone on, Watson's gotten better and better and better. And the underdog tag has really vanished from both him and this team. And I tell you what, they've really dropped away from Brandon Bent back in here. He's now over a second behind the 51.
You know, I do have to say on the team variants, I think my favorite thing right now is our 2 Hondas are, we have no variants right now. We're looking like prime 2016 Marussia F1 team, which is unfortunate, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. Yeah, Benny Watson's been amazing so far in this race, and I have to say, I mean, you're watching these top 4, to just drop a field like this at Atlanta, a version of Atlanta that has been notoriously competitive throughout the years. That's kind of scary stuff, to just see these 4 just walk away from people. I guess you can include Brandon Bent in that as well. To be able to walk away from people at very competitive racetracks is an impressive thing. And on a 1.5-mile racetrack, what type of racetrack do we see the most on the calendar? It's the 1.5 miles. This is how you win a championship, and this is a great sign for these 5 drivers making up the top 5 right now, that they are going to be very, 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 very tough to beat. And they are setting the pace early in the season that, hey, we are going to beat to the top dogs. You have to beat us from the top.
No doubt about that, as we're over halfway through this race. We're approaching pit stops. Not this time around, but it'll probably be a lap or 2 or something along those lines. It won't be that far away. And right on cue, Benny Watson looks like he's going to pit. Looks like Alexander Rowe's going to pit. from 2nd and 4th respectively. So down they come. Brandon Bent stays out. A lot of these guys coming down. You've got Clifton, Caesar, and Allen. So we'll see how much of a difference the one lap undercut makes for these, those guys, particularly the 96 and the 51. The guys that are part of that lead group. See if Rogers and Anthony come down this time. Looks like they will. I think Brandon Bent. Well, looks like Brandon Bent might stay out. And would be 4 tyres for each of these guys. And we'll see where they all come out. There goes the 40. 27's going to stay out, Brandon Bent. Quite a few others as well. So good variance in the strategies as well. Watson's done. Rowe's done. Good stop looks like for those guys. And they're going to see where they come out in relative to the 40 and the 39. The one thing that those guys do not want at the moment, Matt, is a caution. Because if a caution comes out now, it completely throws the race all out of whack and they'd be in a bit of trouble, it's fair to say, as Bent comes down from the lead. So everyone coming off of pit road now. Good stop for Rogers. Looks like he gained a decent chunk of ground on the 39 of Anthony. See where it comes out relative to Watson, because there he is. There's Watson. And he will certainly get around Anthony. It's going to be close here with Rogers. It's going to be very close here with the 40. And Anthony lost a lot of ground. Let's see if Watson's going to get around the outside, and he's going to round him up on that outside. And Benny Watson is going to take the lead of this race. So everybody looks like they've had a clean green pit stop. Here come the rest of the guys off pit road. Alejandro Cruz is on the tail end of the lead lap. He's going to go a lap down here. And there goes Watson around Brandon Bent. And so Benny Watson takes the lead here at Atlanta in the number 96 with less than 30 to go.
I mean, less than 30 to go. I mean, it is a long 30 here because by the end of this 30 laps, those tires are going to be absolutely screaming here. Dominic Anthony, that was not a great pit sequence here by him. It's not a bad sequence, but Julio Cesar jumped him. The Nicotech boys, really strong run there out of the pits because Clifton's up here now. And shout out Tristan. Is Tristan Allen a lap down?
No, he's on the lead lap. He's on the lead lap. Currently 7th.
Yeah, that's great strategy by him on that 14 team. We'll see how it plays out towards the end of the run because I think he's definitely gonna struggle on the tires then. But no, I mean a lot of good stuff going on here. But these top 3, they're in a different universe right now, running their own race and. This could be a championship fight already starting to brew here, race 2 of the season. But with the way these 3 are running here, I mean, you never know.
Oh, look at the run! Look at the move there from Alexander Rowe. He's went straight up to the top, and he's going to switch back underneath here. He set him up beautifully, and the number 51 down to the inside for the lead. It's a beautiful piece of racecraft there from Rowe, and he's going to try and make this one stick. Watson's got some work to do on that outside. He's going to remain side by side down the back. I think Rowe is in a very good position here to clear for the lead. And Rogers is going to switch from the outside to the inside and try and take advantage as well. And Rowe does clear Benny Watson for the race lead. So the 51 out in front here at Atlanta. Watson will slot into 2nd ahead of Rogers. And then the battle behind Anthony, who had that slow pit. It wasn't that slow, but it was slow enough where he's dropped a couple of seconds on the group in front. So that's a tough break for him. But he's now up to 4th. Caesar, Clifton, and Allen certainly made a lot of ground on their stop because they are now 5th, 6th, and 7th. Then you got Brandon Bent in 8th, Eli Bright, Henrik War. So the top 10 didn't change particularly much in that regard. It's the battle for 2nd. Rogers down to the inside of Watson. He wants to get that 11th career win. You know, we talk about a lot of these really elite drivers, and here he goes down to the inside. These drivers that have been around for a long, long time. Rogers, one of those. He's got 10 Cup Series wins. He's got 11 in general. He's looking for number 12 in general, and his 11th Cup Series win, and he sends it to the inside, shoves Rowe up the racetrack, and the number 40 of Jake Rogers back out in front here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. What a move that is for the Premier Racing Motorsports, man.
Yeah, I mean that. Whoa, sorry. Yeah, that Premier Racing 40 machine is just absolutely hooked up today. I mean, you've seen Watson. Obviously, these top three are very much in their own galaxy right now. Um, but I think you have to give other three of these cars. I think you kind of have to go Rogers a bit, at least on the first bit of the run. I feel like Watson's car actually gets better on older tires, which is a credit to how good of a driver he has become here in this series. But I mean, they're dropping Noah Clifton even more now. So when we talk about, is Dominic Anthony going to have a shot to be a player in the outcome? He might, but he might not have a lot of time to do it. It's just a remarkable race we got going on here. It's not every day you see three, four guys just completely break away here. But they are giving us an absolute show here today. Watson back to the inside of Rogers, and once again, they're going to keep changing the lead. I think they're going to keep changing the lead all the way up to the checkered flag falls here today.
Watson learned what Alexander Rowe did to him and did it to Jake Rogers this time, and so the 96 back out in front here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're coming to 20 to go this time, so there is time for Clifton, who looks like he's got a fast race car. Anthony does. Caesar looks like he's got a pretty good car. They've dropped Tristan Allen. This 14 struggling a lot more than I anticipated in this race. They Brandon Bent, that overcut did not work out for him because he's dropped a fair bit of ground. He's down to what will be 9th if he loses this spot, and he does. Jared Oren's worked his way quite well up here in the 99. This is a guy that getting an opportunity with this team, NS Racing, and is doing a pretty serviceable job. Probably the best car he's ever driven in terms of the overall quality. The best chance of him really having a great year. Here he is, just about to crack the top 10. He's got Eli Bright on the outside. Miller has not quite performed the way I would have thought, the 48. Then you got the 20 of Richard Fridge, Alejandro Cruz the lap down, and then Crampton. So the NS Racing cars have got all four of their cars inside that top 14. We better go back up to the front because it's all going on back here. I saw that Rogers within half a tenth, and then all of a sudden it's Rowe that's going to pounce. He gets up to second. He's going to have a crack here for the lead underneath of Watson. But as these tyres, as the run goes along, these tyres will fade away, and that outside lane will be preferred. And so Watson in front of the field at the moment, in front of these guys, in the best position. But these two guys certainly are no slouches. Rogers, a 10-time race winner. Rowe won 5 races in Season 5. They're right on the back of the 96.
Yeah, they are all over the back of the 96, and Rogers once again. They're just going to keep changing the lead over and over and over again. Something you got to keep a note, though. You know, I was just talking about 3-4 laps ago, Noah Clifton was getting dropped. And Noah Clifton just starting to turn the clock. Well, I say that, and he's getting dropped again. But they have to be careful because if the tire advantage kind of switches back to the guys in that second pack, we have seen, multiple times at Atlanta, it can be like a light switch and guys can gain a lot of time very quickly. So don't count out the two Nico Tech teammates, and don't count out Dominic Anthony just yet. 16 laps to go. They're within striking distance if things get crazy. Maybe we'll get a yellow. I don't know. I hope we don't, though, because I want to see this battle through to the end.
Bro trying to get that run on the outside, and I thought he was going to be able to make it work. We haven't seen it work today. I would have thought, based on what we've seen in testing, that it would work. It hasn't quite. Now Watson sends it back to the inside of Rogers, although Rogers gets the run on the high side and will hold him at bay, at least for the time being. We've got 15 to go. And Rogers looking for his 3rd win here at Atlanta in the last 4 races. Number 40, he's got Watson to deal with. He's got Rowe to deal with. And then Clifton, Clifton just dropping back just slightly at the moment. Then Anthony, he's 5th. Caesar's starting to drop off the back of those guys. How about Jared Oren? He's up to 7th. He's working on Brandon Bent at the moment, so this car has found some life as the race has gone along. A good run for the 99. Then, Oren and Bent. Gore's still up here. Miller is inside the top 10. Allen has dropped back to 10th, so that car's clearly just got no speed. Eli Bright, and then Crampton. So Crampton backing up that run that he had at Daytona. He's actually 13th at the moment. But he's backing up that good form, so he's the highest running rookie in the field. Max Davis in the 6 has dropped away, unfortunately, in this run. Same with Richard Fridge has dropped back a little bit as well. But we better get back to the front and look at these two guys now. Rogers and Watson have pulled away a little bit from Alexander Rowe. So the battle may just come down to these two guys, two of the more experienced drivers in the field. And with contrasting fortunes in terms of race wins, Rogers again, he's won a lot of races. Benny Watson's only won one of them. Looking for number 2 here today in the 150th Cup Series race. We're coming to 12 laps to go this time, and Jake Rogers in a familiar position at this racetrack, leading, and he's in a very good position at the moment to win this race, but Watson's not going to let him go easy.
I know, I mean, Benny Watson obviously wants to get into victory lane here, and, you know, we've seen some guys. They have a win. They have one career win. You know, I can think of, you know, two real quick Stock Car World Cup examples. Max Davis and Blaine Keys. They had a win, or they went a long time without winning a second race, and then win again, and it's like bing, 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 rack up a bunch of wins. So maybe could today be the day Benny Watson gets back to victory lane, and then things just start snowballing, and he wins a bunch of races. And the pace that he's shown here today and the racecraft of this 96, I would be scared for how the rest of the season is going to go for this competition, because he looks very, very strong here. But Jake Rogers is not letting this go without a fight, as he shouldn't. Is he going to get the outside maneuver? That is unbelievable stuff from Jake Rogers.
Caught him napping just a little bit. Watson was a little bit kind of in that middle groove there. Had to check up a little bit, and Rogers pounced to the outside. And with 10 to go, this battle continuing on side by side for the lead, heading off into turn 3. Can Rogers clear the 96? No, Watson's going to send it back there on the inside. There's a great racing between these two. And Benny Watson in the 96 this time gets the run through 3 and 4, and he leads at the line, and he's going to clear the 40 off into turns 1 and 2. And Rowe is not that far away. He's dropped a little bit, but he's still not out of it. Can't count that 51 out. And another thing as well, we're going to get lap traffic here perhaps with Eric Monaco, the 42. The next in line, you got Bryce Egan and John Andrews. So something to keep in mind as well as we get to the end of this race, as Rogers again goes to the inside. And once again, we got a change for the lead. And Jake Rogers back out in front with 8 to go, I should say. And just quietly, Clifton is slowly reeling them in as well. Julio Caesar's now up to 5th, and Jared Oren is close in on these guys as well. This 99's got a lot of speed in this race. He's 7th, Brandon Bent is 8th, Dawson Miller 9th, and Henry Gore inside the top 10. As now it looks like Rowe's car has just faded away as this run has gone along. One thing you got to remember too with Rogers, he's got 1 lap younger tyres than the 96 and the 51. So that may be coming into play. But Rogers at the moment with 7 to go in position to win this race. Watson's still not out of it yet though.
No, but we have seen here in Atlanta 1 lap could be worth 2 to 3 tenths by the end of that run if the guy behind you pit a lap later or lap before you. So you got to be he has an advantage here, but this 96 is just so strong here today. All over this racetrack here, they're gonna run into some lap traffic. That is going to spice this up. It'll be Eric Monaco first on the docket if they get to him. I don't know if they're gonna get to a second. They're not gonna really get to a second car, but they should definitely get to Eric Monaco. This is where Benny Watt side by side all the way down the back straightaway into 3 and 4, still side by side. Can the 40 keep it wound up on the top? He's going to get another. That Premier Racing machine is absolutely wicked fast here on the top of the racetrack. Not every day do we see that here, but 4 laps to go here in Atlanta. This has been an unbelievable duel between these two.
They've dropped Alexander Rowe. He's now a 2.5 seconds off the lead as they close in on Monaco just quietly. Jared Oren is up to 4th in the 99. So keep an eye on him in the back end of this race. He may get to 3rd as now Watson sends it on the inside of the 42 with 4 to go. Should get around him, no worries. We'll send it off here into 1 and 2. He gets by him nice and easily. Now it's up to Rogers, who is stuck a little bit behind this 42. It's going to be held up just a teensy tiny little bit. That's not going to help his case. There's Oren. He has got around all three of those guys, so Anthony, Clifton, and Caesar. And he is up to fourth, and he is going for third. What a day for NS Racing. The 96 and the 99 about to crack the top three, and Watson leading now with 3 laps to go.
Watson starting to leg it out just a little here. We've seen time and time again here today, you get a little bit of a lead and somebody behind you's just going to come chasing that back down and make an overtake. But I kind of wonder, Jake Rogers had the tire advantage, but he used that top lane much more than Benny Watson did. I might be about to say I look stupid here as he's starting to close back in. I was kind of starting to wonder if the tire advantage just hasn't favored him as much as we thought it normally would, because he's been running that top so much here. But we're going to get the white flag next time by. Whoever wins this race here has absolutely earned it today. Don't count out Gerard Orton at the pace he's on. He's down to 1.7 seconds back. Unbelievable heater he's on here at the end of this race.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a good thing it's not the 500, because he would be in contention for the win. But the white flag's in the air, 1 lap to go. Benny Watson looking for his second Cup Series win. He won at Nashville late in Season 5. It took 122 races. That was his 122nd career start in the Cup Series. He almost went on to win the championship. It was almost a fairy tale finish. Today, he has out-dueled Jake Rogers. He's beaten the best, and for the second time in his career, Benny Watson's going to be a race winner. NS Racing go back-to-back. Benny Watson wins the Rinnai 400 at Atlanta. What a race. Great battle there. Watson the winner. Rogers so close to that third Atlanta victory. Wasn't to be, but a second place finish. And Gerard Orrin, hats off to the 99. He got to 1.3 seconds off the 96.
That is unbelievable.
He was on fire there at the end. Brandon Bett finishes fourth. Noah Clifton gets his first top 5 for Nicotech. And how about the 96? Benny Watson, the winner here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You'll see the final results on your screen right now. Watson, the winner, by about 3.5 tenths. It was in the end over Jake Rogers. And again, I mean, if this race was a bit longer, if it was the 82-lap race, which it will be later in the year, Gerard Orrin would have been a real shot to win that race. It wasn't to be for him, but that is one of the best races he's ever run in the Cup Series. Getting home today in third. Brandon Bent, not a bad day, I think, all things considered. Noah Clifton fifth. Alexander Rowe dropped a long way back. He actually ended up sixth at the end of all that, and I'm probably lucky not to finish further behind. Dominic Anthony, Dawson Miller, Julio Caesar, and Henrik Waugh inside the top 10. You'll see the rest of the results on your screen, Matt. That was quite the race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, that was I'm out of words here because we just called a race before and ran it back with an unbelievable race here. No, it was an unbelievable titanic scrap between Watson and Rogers. And I mean, the two of them, Rowe and Anthony, had to change the lead 30 times today. It was unbelievable how much they were passing each other. Like you said, though, very good for them that this was the 400 and not the 450, 425, because Gerard Orrin, Brandon Bent, on absolute rails at the end of this race. I think you really saw that tire advantage kick in their favor. But hats off to Watson. NS Racing, 4 cars in the top 12, the first 2 wins on the season. They're locked and loaded, and I am scared as to what's about to happen this season.
Take a look at the championship standings after 2 races. Travis Crampton holds the championship lead by 3 points over Henrik Waugh. So basically the status quo at the top of the field. But a lot of change from that point onwards. Miller and Rode currently will jump into the top 5 in points. Matthew Huber drops a couple big moves up and down the field. Rogers gains 12 positions. Orrin moves up from 27th to 9th in points. So the 99 is in one to watch perhaps this season. And then you go over to the second page, and Benny Watson, with that win today, goes from 35th after being involved in that accident at Daytona. He goes up 24 positions up into 11th in points. So he'll be one to keep an eye on as the year goes along. You take a look at the rest of the points throughout the entire field. Quite an entertaining race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. 18 lead changes. It's what we typically get at Atlanta. We usually get in amongst that 10 to 20 range, and it's exactly what we got today. And it was a great battle between two of the best in the series. There's no doubt about it. Benny Watson is one of the best in the series now, given what he has done. Something happened as well to Colin Denton in the 21. I've just now noticed something happened to him. He ended up 41st today, so maybe a bad pit stop perhaps for the driver of the 21. So disappointing for him. He is 43rd in points for DW Motorsports. It is a shocking start to the season for that 21 team. They need to bounce back quickly. There's no doubt about that. But that does it here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next week will be interesting because it's the first ever race at the Circuit of the Americas. So that'll be a very, very interesting one to see what happens, and that one will be quite chaotic. I think it'd be fair to say. So looking forward to that one. That'll be next week, and we'll see what happens in the Lone Star State. The first two races back-to-back weeks in Texas. So Matt, thank you so much for joining me. Great to have your company, and great to see an entertaining race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
That was a great race here today, and two races in, two very epic scraps for the win, and I think we're in for a very good season here.
No doubt about that. So that does it here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Rinnai 400. Congratulations to Nathan Stapleton and Benny Watson on winning here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we'll see everybody next week at Circuit of the Americas. Goodbye for now.